All right, listen up. Welcome to today's briefing. We're going deep undercover into the microscopic underworld, and our mission is to track down some of the most elusive criminals on the planet, protozoan parasites. This right here, this is your official field guide.
So, that's the big question, isn't it? How in the world do you catch a culprit you can't even see? I mean, when your suspects are totally invisible to the naked eye, your standard investigation is just not going to work. So, how do you do it? How do you bring these tiny menaces to justice?
Well, it's actually simpler than you think. You learn to recognize their face. Every single one has a unique profile, a dead giveaway that tells you exactly who you're dealing with. And this right here, this is the unforgettable mugshot of our first suspect. So let's open the case files. Okay, let's dive into our first group, a crew we call the Gut Gang. And yeah, you guessed it, these are the culprits that set up shop right in the digestive system, causing all kinds of internal chaos. First up on our most wanted list is suspect number 1, Giardia duodenalis. Take a good look at this character. It's known for that distinctive pear-shaped body, but the real tell, I mean, you can't miss it, is that eerie little face with 2 nuclei just staring right back at you. So what's this guy's MO? Well, it's a classic contamination artist. It spreads through the fecal-oral route, and you'll often find it lurking in untreated water from lakes and streams. That's how it earned its notorious alias, beaver fever. Its crime spree leaves a trail of watery diarrhea, bloating, gas, and it even messes with your body's ability to absorb nutrients. But here it is, the smoking gun. If you're looking for that one piece of undeniable proof, it's that 2 nuclei face combined with its unique tool of the trade, a ventral sucking disc. Think of it like a powerful little suction cup it uses to latch onto the intestinal wall and keep from getting flushed out. When you see that combo, you've got your culprit. All right, let's move to our next suspect, and this one is a far more dangerous member of the Gut Gang, Entamoeba histolytica. See, this one isn't content to just hang out in the intestines. Oh no, it's an invader, and it's capable of breaking out and causing serious damage elsewhere. Its methods are pretty similar. Contaminated food and water usually linked to poor sanitation. But its crimes, they are way more severe. We're talking amoebic dysentery, which means severe, bloody diarrhea. And if it's not stopped, it can actually escape the gut and form life-threatening abscesses in the liver. So, how do we get a positive ID? It all comes down to this one crucial piece of forensic evidence. You're looking for what's called a trophozoite. That's the parasite in its active feeding stage, and you have to catch it red-handed, literally. If you see ingested red blood cells inside the amoeba, you know for a fact it's Entamoeba histolytica. Case closed. Now we're escalating the investigation. We're leaving the gut behind and moving on to the bloodstream bandits. These are the parasites that hijack the body's own circulatory superhighway to get around. And our prime suspect here is one of the most infamous parasites in the entire world, Plasmodium falciparum. This is the primary agent behind the absolute deadliest form of malaria, a global menace that's responsible for hundreds of thousands of deaths every single year. Now, this bandit has an accomplice, the female Anopheles mosquito. A single bite is all it takes to kick off the infection. The parasites first invade the liver, multiply like crazy, and then they just pour into the bloodstream to assault red blood cells. And that's what causes those classic, brutal cycles of fever, chills, and severe anemia. Under the microscope, you'll spot them as these tiny little ring forms inside the red blood cells. But the signature clue, the piece of evidence that just screams falciparum, is its unique banana-shaped sexual stage. That's called a gametocyte. You just won't see that with other malaria species. But hold on a second. We've got a copycat. Meet Babesia microti. It also invades red blood cells, and at first glance, it can look a whole lot like malaria. But this culprit uses a different accomplice, and it leaves behind a very different calling card. So let's compare the case files. Plasmodium is transmitted by a mosquito. Babesia, on the other hand, uses an Ixodes tick, yep, the very same one that spreads Lyme disease. And while both of them can show up as ring forms, the key clue for Babesia is this super distinctive arrangement of 4 parasites that looks like a Maltese cross. That's how you tell these 2 bandits apart. All right. Let's move on to our final category for today, the specialists. These are the unique operators, and each one has a very particular and sometimes a very strange modus operandi.
Our first specialist is a true master of infiltration, Toxoplasma gondii. This parasite has a really complex life cycle that absolutely requires cats as its definitive host, but it can infect almost any warm-blooded animal out there, including us. Humans usually just get caught in the crossfire, either by eating undercooked meats that has parasite cysts in it, or, famously, through contact with contaminated cat feces. Now, for most healthy people, it's not a big deal at all. But for someone who's immunocompromised or for a developing fetus, it can be devastating, causing severe inflammation in the brain.
And for our final suspect, we have Trichomonas vaginalis. Now, unlike all the others we've seen, this parasite's crime is a sexually transmitted infection. It's got a really distinct look, and it doesn't even bother with a hardy cyst stage. It just lives its whole life as an active, mobile little organism.
So the crucial point for identification here comes from a lab exam. The key evidence is seeing this highly motile, flagellated organism with its characteristic undulating membrane, that's kind of a fin-like thing that helps it move, and you'll see it just zipping around on a wet mount slide. That jerky, twitching movement is absolutely unmistakable.
Okay, that's our rogues gallery. You've seen the evidence, you've heard the MOs. Now for the final step in any good investigation, the lineup. Let's review the key identifying features one last time. For Giardia, you're looking for that face and the sucking disc. For Entamoeba, it's all about finding those ingested red blood cells. Plasmodium falciparum gives itself away with those banana-shaped gametocytes. Babesia forms the telltale Maltese cross. For Toxoplasma, the critical link is always cats. And for Trichomonas, it's that motile, flagellated form on a wet mount. These are the clues that crack the case.
So we've put these 6 in our field guide, but it really makes you think, doesn't it? In this vast, unseen world all around us, and even inside of us, how many other microscopic culprits are still out there, just waiting to be identified? The investigation never really ends.